Hey everyone, it's Callum from Cagefront here. We are back with another predictions and breakdown video for UFC Fight Night, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, where we're going to be predicting and breaking down all of the best fights on the card and also giving out my fight card award. So without further ado, let's get into the first fight of Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. So this is one of the first fights on the card, but this is definitely one I want to go through. Firstly, because of Elijah Smith, because this guy is going to be getting my Fighter to Watch award, because this guy is on a 6-fight win streak. He's got momentum. He looked really good on Dana White's Contender Series against Aaron Tao. Just really showed amazing parts of his game in like literally every facet. He's very fast on the feet. He's got very composed, fast counter striking as well, and he's got great hip throws. He's got really nice blast doubles too. He's just got a good wrestling base on top of the striking. The guy is definitely good. Now, don't get me wrong, Toshiomi Kazama, granted, he's a bit chinny, which I'm not too keen on in this fight when it comes to Elijah Smith's speed, but Kazama does have the grappling advantage here. He is the better overall grappler because he does have very good transitions when it gets there. He often uses like a very aggressive takedown game to get the fight to the ground. But the problem with that is that Elijah Smith firstly has a wrestling base. He is someone that is going to be able to stuff those takedowns against Kazama, and if he so chooses, he's going to take the fight to the ground. But if Toshiomi, if he isn't able to get this fight to the ground, impose his will there, and then submit Smith, I don't think he's going to be able to survive against Elijah Smith on the feet here. Elijah Smith, he's just got a lot of tools on the feet. He's got the higher volume as well. And Toshiomi Kazama, he's been KO'd a few times in his last 5 fights. Granted, he looked good against Gregoriou, but Gregoriou couldn't stuff takedowns, and Elijah Smith is gonna be able to do that. Elijah Smith being able to counter that wrestling against Kazama, and with his fast striking, especially that boxing on the feet and on the front foot as well, I just don't see this going Kazama's way at all, and I got Elijah Smith taking a KO TKO win here. I think it's going to happen at the end of round 1. Once Kazama realizes that he can't get this fight to the ground, and Elijah Smith is realizing that, oh, he can't take me down, Smith is going to grow in confidence. He's going to really utilize that boxing, and you're going to see why I have him as my Fighter to Watch and giving him that Fighter to Watch award. He is going to be taking out Kazama at the end of the first round or the start of the second round. Now, moving up the card to Christian Leroy Duncan versus Eryk Anders. Now, this is like a bit of a changing of the guard fight. That's why the matchmakers have made this one. Looking at Eryk Anders, you know, he's not someone that's just going to be run through super easily. He is a super durable guy. He's 10-1 with KOs, got the power in his hands, and the guy is also pretty hard to take down, and he's actually decent in like every position. Like, you know, decent, not the greatest in any position except for that power. But Christian Leroy Duncan, this guy's got the style to really just take out Anders, I do believe here. He's got the advantage in all the striking stats. He's younger. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage as well, and he's got great takedown defense himself. So if Anders is just getting absolutely flustered, and then he's trying to shoot for a takedown, I think it's going to be really hard to get a hold of Duncan's hips. And Duncan can just fight at all ranges. I mean, that's where it's a real issue, especially with the switch stance kickboxing style he has. With Anders and that boxing power he has, like, Christian Leroy Duncan just doesn't need to be there. He's got the kickboxing range. He's got way too many tools in that switch stance style, which he showed against Pulayev in his last fight, just destroying him. Anders is durable enough to last a couple rounds, but I think Duncan's going to really overtake him and take him out in the third round. I think he's going to get that TKO finish against the cage. That's just going to use a lot of teep kicks, a lot of body kicks, utilize some nice jabs to the body, then utilize heavy clinch work against the cage, cut off that boxing range as well, and then I think he's just going to land something really nice in the clinch, drop him, and get that TKO finish in the third round. Granted, Anders is super durable, but in a matchup like this, I just don't think it's going to last. Now, moving up the card, we have got Gene Matsumoto versus Miles Johns. And firstly, I got to give this my Fight of the Night award because I think this one is going to bang. Because Gene Matsumoto, this guy's pretty much good everywhere. And Miles Johns, on the other side, he's moving down from featherweight to bantamweight. He's got a very short reach and he really needs this move down. Like, I mean, 66 inches of reach is not a lot. Like, in featherweight, that's pretty bad. Aside from Patricio Pitbull, he's one of the only ones that has a reach that short at featherweight. featherweight. He's very durable. He's got the strength, and I think the translation down to bantamweight with how stocky he is, he's already very defensively sound. He's good at stopping chokes on the ground. He's got a very nice, tight striking guard that is hard to break through. Just overall very good defensively, but I will say he does struggle to get off the mark. He struggles to get into his rhythm. He doesn't have a very high output, and if he's not getting that output successfully through in the first half of the fight, he does lag behind, and that's where he's lost a couple of his recent fights. And Gene Matsumoto on the other side, very, very high strike accuracy, much more volume from him, extremely well-rounded. He has got better offensive threats everywhere, and he does have more dynamic tools. And the dynamic striking that he has, I think that's going to be able to overwhelm Miles Johns in this fight, just like Felipe Lima did in his fight against Miles Johns most recently. And Gene Matsumoto, short notice fight against Rob Font. Gene looked fantastic in that fight. I mean, granted, he only did just lose. It was a razor close fight. In that fight, the timing on his takedowns was really, really good. The trips were really good. He's got the ability on the ground here to outwork Miles Johns. He just needs to not get out-muscled. That's where it can be a little bit of an issue, but Miles getting that clinch-based exchange is what he needs to do here. Really just bully Matsumoto, cut off the distance, because anything at range or on the ground, I think it's Gene Matsumoto's fight to win. Gene Matsumoto is just more dynamic. He is just more so well-versed in pretty much every position. Him utilizing that lateral movement on the outside, utilizing good leg kicks where Miles Johns going to be out of range, use some kicks up top. He's got long striking combinations as well. Like, Gene Matsumoto just doesn't have a lot of flaws, to be honest. He's got really nice 3-2 combinations to cover distance as well, where Miles Johns just isn't going to be able to hit him unless he gets a nice counter strike. I think that in combination with his takedown opportunities, I've got to give Matsumoto the decision win here. Miles Johns is a bitch of a thing to take out, so I do think that Gene is going to be able to really mix up an MMA-based game here, utilize good striking at range, utilize those 3-2 combinations, and utilize good lateral movement on the outside when Miles Johns is pressing. It's going to be a 29-28 decision for Gene Matsumoto here. I think that Miles Johns is going to really dog it out in that second round. I think he's going to get some nice close quarter boxing exchanges, and I think he's going to come out on top of those. He might be able to wobble Matsumoto, but I think Matsumoto through the first round, utilizing really nice body shots, circling out effectively, trying to use that grappling early, and then in the third round, I think he's just going to dog it out for a decision. Not a clean sweep decision for Gene Matsumoto, but I do think that he's going to be able to take it with the tools that he does possess for this fight of the night. Gonna be really good. And moving up the card to Fili versus C-Rod. This is honestly an exciting matchup. Good bit of matchmaking from the UFC here, in my opinion. Whoever wins this fight, I mean, if they win it, like, in a good fashion, they have a good chance of getting up to those ranking positions and fighting for one. Andre Fili, as we know, he's a veteran. He has fought in those ranking positions before, and he's got really nice striking. I think the striking, obviously, on his side is the reason why he's gotten so far in his career. He's got very quick 1-2s and just good hands overall, and with a 3-inch reach advantage, that could give C-Rod some troubles. But the problem is on the other side is that C-Rod is just so transitionally adept, and when we saw Andre Fili in his last fight against Melchizedek Costa, he got completely exposed on the ground, just submitted in the first round easily. And don't get me wrong, Fili does have decent takedown defense, but C-Rod, firstly, is going to be pressing hard for that takedown, as well as that C-Rod has really improved with his striking. He's got really nice counter striking now, nice twos, and he's got really nice lead elbows as well when he is pressuring and when he's countering when someone's trying to flurry against him. He's really looked impressive, and he used all those tools against Melchizedek Costa, which I think he beat Melky in that last fight. It wasn't like a robbery or anything like that. It was a very close fight, but I do think that C-Rod edged it, and Andre Fili got submitted by him in the first round. But obviously, you might be saying, Callum, styles make fights, mate. And that is 100% correct. But C-Rod, honestly, I think he's got the style to beat Fili here. I think he's just got more tools overall when it comes to the ground game, and he's got the wrestling threat there. Whereas Fili, if he's taking C-Rod down, C-Rod is going to be able to get to a position where he's going to be able to control Fili. His transitional capabilities, especially defensively, are top tier. Like, C-Rod is extremely impressive. He is going to be able to utilize really nice boxing to start off with. I think that he needs to make sure he's getting on the inside, though, of course, to make sure that Fili isn't just jabbing his bloody head off. But with the timing that C-Rod has had on his strikes in recent times, and with his grappling, I just don't think that Fili is going to be having a good time here. I think it's going to be a 29-28 decision. Fili will be able to take the first round, really pumping the jab, working his way on the outside, circling out effectively. But aside from that, I think that C-Rod is going to be able to take the last 2 rounds. I think he's going to be able to get Fili down. I think he's going to be able to control him. He's going to be one step ahead of him. And if he's doing that consistently, I will not be surprised if there's like a 3rd round submission here. But aside from that, I think that C-Rod is just going to be able to dominate him with the control, with the transitional awareness as well. And he's going to be able to take this by a 29-28 decision. Moving up the card to Iasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill, our first ranked fight of the card. Now, Iasmin Lucindo, she's got great timing on her takedown. She's been on a bit of a run. Granted, she did lose her last fight to Amanda Lemos, but aside from that, she deserves her ranking position. She is definitely good when it comes to her control on the ground, and she does have power in her hands. But when we look at Angela Hill, she is someone that has double the output. She has like similar strike accuracy, but is just overall more active with that Muay Thai base that she has, which she has shown like 58 million times with the amount of fights that she's bloody had and the tape that we have on her. But she has improved her defensive grappling a lot. If it's up to par, I think she can take this win here. And she is a decent underdog in this fight. And that's where I've got to give her my upset of the night award. I don't think it's going to be any form of just real big upset. I think it's going to be an extremely close fight. And I do think because of Angela's really, really high output, like over doubling Lucindo's output, along with being able to stifle the grappling and utilizing scrambles effectively on the ground to stop Lucindo just from completely controlling her, that's where Angela can really win this fight on volume. We got to see good scrambles in her last fight, and we got to see her against Pinheiro as well. Luana Pinheiro submitting her as well. So she does have a submission game there, granted first submission of her career, but she's got that ability. She is improving even though she's 40 years old, and that's something that I can honestly trust in. And Lucindo, granted, if she's getting this fight to the ground successfully, she can probably 30-27 Angela Hill if Angela's not getting out of there. But as an underdog pick with the volume, if it's staying on the feet, it's literally just a battle of volume and control. If Lucindo gets it to the ground, controls, she can win. If Angela Hill stops the control, stops the takedowns, and stays on the feet, she can definitely win. So I think it's that close a call. I do not mind sprinkling some underdog money here for Angela Hill to get the split decision win. Now, moving on to our co-main event, which I think honestly came together pretty well considering the circumstances. We got Steve Astro Boy Erceg versus Ode Osbourne. And Steve Erceg, firstly with him, man, got a feel for him. Had Alex Perez just pull out, he was going to be fighting up the rankings for that. It's just a bit of a nightmare for him, but he's got an opponent, and it's a good opponent in Ode Osbourne. However, he's fighting outside the rankings, and he just does not want to be fucking around, which I do not think he's going to be fucking around, to the point I'm giving him my Performance of the Night award, because I think, granted, Ode Osbourne is a good fighter as of recently. He's really found himself in his MMA career, especially with the power that he has in that straight left. When it comes to that fight against Garule especially, my goodness, even against Ronaldo Rodriguez, dropping him multiple times. Ode Osbourne, you can't sleep on him. Even though he's got a lot of losses in his career, he's someone that can take you out because he has got the longest reach in flyweight. And if it's fighting at that kickboxing range, Erceg definitely can get taken out in this fight if it stays at kickboxing range. However, Steve Erceg is just better everywhere. He's got the ability to outwork Osbourne literally everywhere. I think he's going to be able to outwork him on the feet. He's got the strike speed advantage. He's got the technical boxing advantage. I think that Erceg is going to be able to take Ode Osbourne down and Hunter's submission here. I just don't think he's going to be playing around, and I think he really wants to get back on track and obviously fight those ranked fighters, and he wants to mitigate the risk as best as he can, and the way of doing that is getting the fight to the ground. And if he can, that's where Erceg has got the grappling advantage here. He's got the transitional capabilities that is just going to be one step ahead of Ode Osbourne on the ground, but it's on the feet as well. He's just more accurate. He's got the higher volume. I think that Steve Erceg is going to be able to get this fight to the ground, and I think he's going to be able to win those close-knit exchanges. I think he's going to utilize some nice boxing in the early round in that first round. Then I think Erceg's going to take Ode Osbourne down. Osbourne doesn't have the greatest takedown defense, and then I think he's going to get him to the ground, and that's where the BJJ black belt of Erceg is really going to shine through. And that's where I think he's going to be able to get the submission in the second round. I'm going to take it by a rear naked choke to get the performance of the night. Just some clinical boxing in the first round, and then some really nice grappling to finish off the fight in the second round. Performance of the night win for Steve Erceg. Now, moving on to the main event, we've got Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, which is a great bit of matchmaking from the UFC to get some movement in the middleweight division to really get some more contenders at that top range. And Roman Dolidze, for starters, this guy, super durable, large, stocky middleweight, has fought at light heavyweight as well, which he beat Anthony Smith as part of his 3-fight win streak that he's on right now. So he's got momentum on his side. And he's 37 years old, which isn't the greatest, but he did not slow down at all against Marvin Vettori in their fight and just picked up the pace in the championship rounds. So he's got a very pressure-heavy, volume-based style, good strength as well. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he does have sneaky tools. Like, he got a bloody calf slicer against Jack Hermanson, but one guy he's definitely not getting with those sneaky tools is Fluffy Hernandez here, man. Fluffy Hernandez is just so good for this matchup, I do believe, and I think he is going to be performing extremely well, which I'll get into. But look, even though Dolidze, when it comes to his gas tanking, looking great against Vettori, Fluffy will put a whole different kind of pace on this man. He's got that grinder-based style, and that, when it comes to the grappling, is the thing that he needs to worry about most. But firstly, when it looks to even on the feet, Fluffy has a much higher strike accuracy, like 65% compared to like 40%, like really, really big contrast there. He's got really good boxing. Granted, the kickboxing is probably even, but the boxing range and his clinch-based work especially is super dangerous, especially along with that chain wrestling. Fluffy's just got problems for Dolidze bloody everywhere. And granted, Dolidze might be stronger, like just physically, and if he can really just work Hernandez in the clinch, he might be able to do something there. And especially, I mean, this is the blueprint to beating Fluffy Hernandez. If you can work Fluffy's body is his kryptonite. We can ask Kevin Holland that. We can ask Michelle Pereira that in the first round. If you are working Fluffy Hernandez's body early, putting that pace on him, not allowing him to take you down in a response, and then take him out, you're beating Fluffy Hernandez. But aside from that, he is an absolute bitch of a thing to take out. He is so good. He's ridiculously just insane with his grappling. He's a Tasmanian devil, if you know what that is. I'm from Australia. But Roman Dolidze, I think that if he doesn't target that kryptonite of Anthony Hernandez, I think he's screwed here. I just don't see him being able to do anything. He can't outstrike Hernandez. He's not faster than Hernandez. Hernandez, when it comes to that grappling-based game, granted, Dolidze could get him down, but Fluffy Hernandez with the chain wrestling and the humongous grappling advantage, I think Fluffy is just going to run circles around him, and I think he's going to be able to dictate the pace wherever this fight goes. I think Dolidze, firstly, I think he can win the first round. I think he can just use more volume and just outwork Hernandez. Hernandez isn't the fastest starter in the first round, especially with a 5-round fight, but that's where he just really picks up the pace when it comes to a late fight. He just dogs it out. So I think Roman Dolidze with his high volume style could take the first round, but otherwise, the striking, the grappling, and just overall offensive capabilities or even defensive capabilities, Anthony Hernandez wins here. I think Fluffy is just going to find a lot of success when it comes to the takedowns himself, because Dolidze, he's been taken down by Phil Hawes and Jack Hermanson, and granted, Jack Hermanson's fine, but Phil Hawes, seriously, man, if you're getting taken down by those guys, Fluffy Hernandez is definitely going to take you down. That grinder-based style and that submission arsenal that Fluffy Hernandez has, I see Fluffy getting the submission win in the 3rd to the 4th round. I think it's going to be either a guillotine finish with Dolidze going to hunt a takedown in the mid rounds after Fluffy has just had a really good 2nd round to just try and get back, and I think Dolidze is going to make that mistake. Or Fluffy is just going to dominate him to the point where he takes his back and sinks in a rear naked choke in the 3rd round, or the start of that championship round in the 4th. Fluffy is just quicker, more accurate on the feet, has more offensive grappling tools, can stifle Dolidze's wrestling, and I honestly do believe that he is going to be getting my Finish of the Night award here if he is finishing the unfinishable Roman Dolidze. I think that Fluffy Hernandez, this is his ticket straight into a top 5 fight, and he is going to do it in style. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this predictions and breakdown video, and I really hope it helps you with your picks, and I really hope you enjoy the fight card. Now, if you haven't already seen, there's just a video up here on the screen, and please like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel, and I will hope to catch you in the next one.